and welcome back to the channel. I hope that everybody is doing well. Hope that everybody is enjoying some sunshine, or at least hopefully it's sunshiny where you're at. The sun is definitely out right now, hence I'm squinting.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to complain because I love the sun and I really miss warm, sunny weather. So at least it's sunny even though it's 27 degrees.
I like the sun, but I don't like it's okay.
Yes, I feel you. So my little one's in the back seat. I'm in my car again. Shocker, I know. I'm in the parent pickup line right now, waiting to get Caleb from school. He has an early release day today, so I get to pick him up earlier than usual. And this one is awake this time. A lot of times he'll fall asleep and take a nap during this time, but not today. He is awake. Hi. Anyway, so I thought I would take the opportunity while I'm here in my setup, my car. Actually, it's a hot mess in here too, but I'm not going to show you that. Anyway, this is my time where I can talk to people and have a minute of like thinking time. So I thought that I would answer a question that I've had a lot of people asking me, and it's whether or not I think online nurse practitioner school versus brick and mortar nurse practitioner school, which one's better, basically. And I don't think it's a black and white answer, I guess. I'm a firm believer in you get out of stuff what you put into it. You know, you will learn what you need to know and you will do well if you put in a lot of time and work and effort. I'm a firm believer in that. Online or brick and mortar school, I think you can do well with either. There's a couple like caveats to that. One being some people, they just struggle with online formatting, and you have to be honest, I think, with yourself if that's not a format that you will do well at. You have to be very self-disciplined. You're not going and checking in somewhere and being forced to sit down in some lecture hall or whatever. You have to make the time on your own to learn the material. And so you have to have a lot of self-discipline. You have to be realistic, I guess, with who you are and your style of learning. For me, I am very good at teaching myself things. That is definitely something that I think that I do well at. And so online schooling for me, I preferred it, I guess. Like, I wanted the online format. One, because I have these small humans that came out of my body and I want to be home more, and it's just easier with, you know, figuring out childcare and all of that. And then the pandemic happened and everybody was virtual anyway. But even if it weren't during the pandemic, I still would have wanted that format. Like, especially with the stage of life that I'm in now. If I were single or didn't have young kids, also I was working, I mean, it was just easier for my lifestyle and my schedule. In a different time, if I didn't have all the responsibilities that I do now, then maybe, you know, full-time brick and mortar would have been like a cool, I guess, experience. But again, like I said, my learning style, I really like to sit down alone. And so online for me, it works well. I do think, though, like I said, you have to be realistic with your learning style. Some people really need to be in a classroom. That being said, I do also need hands-on. I absolutely need hands-on. But I knew that even though I'd be doing the year of didactics or whatever, lecture and assignments and writing and all the things, I would have to still do a year of clinicals. And like I said, I don't know if I did clarify this, but I did an online program. So it was 2 years total for my master's degree. And the first year was all online. And then the second year I had some classes in there too, but it was 1 year of clinical, which of course is not online. That is in person, in practice. That, I think, is where you really learn your skills and learn how to apply it to practice. I felt the same way about nursing school. All of the text is great, but I need to apply it and practice it hands-on. And so I got that from my clinicals. Same with nurse practitioner school. Same thing. It's learning a new role. And the best way that I learn, and I think a lot of people learn, is really on the job. But that only really kind of answers the question, do I think one is better education-wise than the other? Also, I do think that you should still try and pick a school that has a good reputation, not some like no-name online school, but something that is established and reputable. Obviously, that's going to be important. So like for me, I went to University of Cincinnati. It's still a really great school. It was online still, but it's still a known name and an established university. Honestly, the program was really well done as well. It prepared me, I think, for the job the best that anything can. You know, of course, I still had a big transition period. I don't feel 100% comfortable yet. I'm still learning. I'm still asking questions, but I'm much more comfortable than I was initially. So this was my other point, is even though I think that you can get a great education from both online and brick and mortar, what about, do I think it affects the likelihood of you getting a job? And that's like the second part, I feel like, to everybody's question is, well, do you think that if I go to an online NP school that I'll be able to get a job, that people will hire me? And I think that, okay, how do I put this? I think networking and your connections are everything for getting a job. I say during that 2 years or however long your program is, you are spending time studying and learning, and you are also spending time building connections, because that is ultimately what's going to get your foot in the door. If you like a clinical site that you are at, become friends with the whole office and really make those connections. And I mean, make multiple connections. Every clinical that you go to, treat it as though it's a job interview, and start reaching out to places now. You know, if you're currently working as a nurse, start looking into options for you to transition into working as a nurse practitioner in the same hospital that you're at. Take the 2 years and start establishing those connections, because I think that is ultimately what is going to help you get a job. If you have no connections and you just graduated school, I do think in that situation it will benefit you to have a more reputable program versus like some online lesser known nurse practitioner program. So if you have great connections, I think you can have probably even like a no name, like barely credentialed school, but if you know the right people, you'll be able to get a job. If you do not know the right people, it's going to be a little harder for you. And then in that situation, I think it will definitely benefit you to have a more reputable established school, a more well-known program, I guess. But like back to what I was saying, networking is huge. Take the entire 2 years that you are in your program and establish connections. That will be what gets you your job. Every clinical site, treat it as a job interview. Start looking at your current place of employment now. Reach out to your school. I mean, really start looking. That is the second part of your education, is trying to find out what your career is going to be. Because I don't think, any of us are going into it for money. I mean, I want to make more money. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't work for fun, right? But as a nurse right now, especially, you can make better money for sure. I could leave my role as a nurse practitioner and take multiple jobs and work and make more money as a nurse. The problem is that I have zero interest, a very large negative number of interest going back to bedside nursing. I don't mean to sound dramatic, but I can't. They're coming out now, Tush.
Then we have to move on.
So that's my answer, because we're going to get going to pick up Caleb, huh? I went to University of Cincinnati. I did their online 2-year program. First year was online. My second year was all clinical and then some online classes still. I love to learn by myself. Plus I have, like I said, my little minions. So it was just way more flexible with my schedule. I continued to work and I did find employment right away. And it had everything to do with my connections that I had established actually for my nursing career. It was also one of the sites that I did my clinical at. And so I really got to learn the job, not so much just for schooling, but I literally got to learn the flow of the office and the charting system. So when I transitioned to working there, it was really an easy transition. Again, like I said, I'm a huge believer in you can do anything that you put your mind to. I know that's super cheesy, and I know I've said this before, but in case you haven't seen yet, and this is your first time watching, I did not graduate high school. I dropped out of high school, and a lot of people probably did not think that I would do much of anything with my life. And I mean, I got my master's in nursing. I'm not like even trying to brag. A ton of people can do it. All of you watching probably are doing it or have done it. But I'm just saying, nobody expected anything from me, and I was successful, and I'm comfortable, and I'm happy. And so the message is that if you go to online school, if you put in the work, you can do it. If you go to brick and mortar and you put in the work, you can totally do it. You can do it as long as you put in the work and the effort. It's not going to be gifted to you. It's going to take a lot of work. And I think either one could set you up for success or failure. It's on you and your level of effort. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully that makes Hopefully I answered that well. I don't really know. I might have rambled a little. I know I ramble sometimes. But, I mean, if you're watching this type of video right now, oh, we're moving, then you must like to also listen to people just kind of talk. I do. Interest me. So if you're watching me talking, then this must interest you because, yes, I do ramble. And I know I do. Right? Children, you can always count on them to be brutally honest. Are you ready to go get Caleb?
Yeah.
Can you say bye?
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, until next time, wish you nothing but the best. Don't forget to learn something new every day. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.